Hello, chat. Happy Friday. Happy freaking holy shoot. It's March. We're freaking we're six done with the year. We're six done with the year and freaking I still feel like I'm in that mode where it's in my brain it's still 2024. It's still 2024. I'm pretty sure like when I put dates down half the time I'm freaking up the dates. But it's been a week. I've still been like kinda sicky. I've still been coughing. Even though I've been going to work this whole time, I've been coughing. And maybe I shouldn't have been going to work, but the cough just hasn't quite gone away yet. It's still like throat's still itchy, you know, still get that weird like post-nasal drippy feel of like weird phlegm going down my throat. Ugh. I'm freaking surprised it's not gone yet. I've even used the neti pot like 3 times this week. I've used the neti pot like 3 times and I'm still, you know, got the weird like snot and coughing and clearing my throat. But freaking, it's annoying, but it's not. It's also not enough that it's like really interrupting my day-to-day life, I guess. In that I still feel like I should be going to work, you know? Still have to take care of all the errands. I'm not like sick enough to call out sick, you know? One sec. But, sorry. Keep having sniffles. But it's fine. It's fine. Freaking, you gotta roll with the punches. I got my yearly like, I guess they're called appraisals. That's what my manager calls them. It's the like yearly raise. And honestly, freaking, I hate capitalism. Freaking, my company. I'm not trying to dox myself. I'm not trying to dox myself, but my company, I'm pretty sure, is like making billions and billions, and they're very clearly like trying to say that they're doing what they're telling all the shareholders, yeah, record-breaking profits, and meanwhile, us little peasant employees are getting freaking bootlick raises. I got a raise of 2.7%. That's less freaking. I googled it. The inflation last year was 2.9. So my company, even though it's going to the shareholders, like yeah, we're doing well. Record level revenue, record level, you know, money making. We're doing so well. We're kicking ass. Meanwhile, they're like they're lowering people's pay effectively, right? Because if they're giving me less of a raise than inflation, then I'm losing, right? And I'm like actually losing too, because not only like percent wise, right? But just like I looked at the number of raw dollars, right? In what my like over the year it should be. My raw dollars over the year went up by we'll say, you know, I'm not gonna give the exact number, but we'll say like $3,000 or so. And my rent for the year, when my apartment company came back and the landlord was like, yeah, the new rent is this, that went up by over $3,000 per year. So I actually just freaking, any way you slice it, I'm just getting poor. Porridge. Sorry, need to cut. But frickin' capitalism sucks, man. Capitalism sucks. And my manager was like, well, Belle, I mean, I'm trying to get you promoted, but the like higher level managers, they're the ones who make the ultimate decisions on how much money we have to spend on promotions, and I don't know if we can do that. So I'm gonna try, Belle, but it might not happen. The promotion might not happen. We might have to do some sussy workarounds where you apply to I create an opening for a new job and you just apply for the new job instead of just giving you a promotion, which is so silly. It's so silly that you've got these like silly, stupid little business politics at this low level. Excuse me. Sorry, that was a really bad, oh no, Rax. I'm sorry. I'm trying to mute myself, but I wasn't fast enough there. How are you, Rax? How are you? Sorry, I'm just here freaking ranting about my freaking manager being like, well, there's nothing we can do, Belle. There's nothing we... Thank you. You know, I didn't know, like, until someone, like, really educated me that's like a really weird thing to say, right? Because it's like, I think someone said it literally means, like, you saved me. They're like, oh, you sneezed on me. I'm glad you saved me with your snot. But freaking, it's okay. It's okay. I welcome your weird idolization culture. Sorry, I'm having like a coughing fit now. Frick. Needed to do more. I don't know what I could have done. You don't know if you have work to do? As in, like, you're, like, unemployed? Or, like, you're supposed to be working, but you don't know what to do? What do you mean you don't know if you have work to do? Or you don't know if you have a job? I don't know. I'm not super familiar with what you do. But frickin', it just seems everything's all fricky with everything. Honestly, more than just the job market or the economy. Your contract ended but haven't been given it, like they haven't paid you? Or like they haven't given you like another contract? That's tough. I'm sure it's really tough right now. I on the side have been like looking into like other job opportunities. And it's hard right now. It's hard. Frick. Haven't given you an extension or a notice to take... Ah, I see. So you're in limbo. But like, do you like... Does that mean you stop going in? Or you like stop checking your... Like, you can't just leave your shit there. But you also shouldn't be going in for free, right? But my manager, frickin'... I feel so conflicted. So conflicted about my manager. Because I know there's all the, like... Corpa managers who, like... will feed you bullshit and say that they're, like, trying to do things. Meanwhile, they're like, really aren't trying. But I know my manager's not like that. I know my manager's, like, actually trying to help us. It just... He has no power. He has no power. And it's like the people who do have the power are like so far up that they don't even see, you know, the peasants working. You're done with that place? Good for you. Good for you. Reject work. Reject work. We need to seize the means of production. But like, he's a nice guy, and he's like, well, I want you to stick around. I want you to keep working here. So I'm gonna try and help you out. But like, I feel bad because he's like a good guy, and he clearly is trying to do like all the right things. But it seems like there's just no good reasons. No good reasons for me to feel like I should stay. Even if he tries. And then, like, I don't know. There's some, like, he's just sort of weird sometimes, you know? I don't know if you, like, get this. Do you feel like you're supposed to respect your boss? Like, I get that your boss is supposed to be like someone, you know, you listen to and you do what they tell you to, right? They're your boss. But respect is like a weird word, right? I mean, I know my boss, and I do respect him because he's, like I said, he's a good guy. But he was talking to me one time when we were in a car together on like a business trip. And he was talking about his daughter, and he has like these little spats with his daughter, and he's like, well, when me and my daughter are having issues, well, I'll just back off because I know she's gonna need me before I'm gonna need her, so I'll, you know, if she's not gonna respect me, then I'm just gonna take her phone and I'm gonna back off, and then she's gonna need something from me eventually, right? And it's weird to me because, like, that word of, like, respect, you will respect me, is like, I don't know if you can ever really, like, I feel like the way people use that word in that context is wrong. Because to me, respect is like some sort of admiration, right? Where you like, it's almost reverence, right? You admire someone, and because of that, that's where you like develop respect for them. But some people think that respect is like, oh, you need to respect authority, and that's like a weird thing, because like, I'm not gonna respect someone like in when I think of respect, I'm not thinking of like, oh, my boss, I have to respect him because he's my boss. No, I only respect people who are respect worthy, who are good people. And when you say like, you will respect me, like, that's just weird. That's just weird. Even if it's your daughter, you can't just be like, my daughter will respect me because she lives under my household. You know, that's like, I don't think that word means the things that people seem to equate it with anymore. Or maybe my understanding of the word is wrong. Or maybe, I think what's more likely is people are just sort of like, they have the wrong idea. Because sorry, coughing. Yeah. Exactly. Like, it's one thing to have the power, right? Like, I get it. The police, you know, in some sense, like, if a police gives me orders, I'm gonna follow the order. That does not mean I respect the police. And then when they're like, oh, why don't you respect my authority? I'm like, yeah, authority is not something to be respected. Authority is just like, oh, I guess you have power over me, bitch. Bitch, you know? And I just feel like there's some weird thing, especially with all those like older generations and parents, where they're like, oh, you know, people don't respect things the way they used to. But you really have to earn respect, right? You have to earn respect. So those like great grand bosses, my boss's boss's boss, or whoever, that guy way up there who's like deciding who gets promotions, which I guess is freaking not me. You know, that guy like 3 levels above me, that old white guy, because they're always freaking old white guy, that guy does not have my respect, okay? I mean, he is my boss, right? On someone, he boss's 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 boss, so if he like tells me to do something, I'll do it. But freaking those people don't deserve respect. What have you done to deserve respect? Not necessarily white, but old nonetheless. I mean, all I'm gonna say is, at my company, if you look at that level, that I think that's like the VP level I'm talking about, is like boss, right? They're like 90% old white men. And I'm not gonna say that that's good or bad. It just, you know, that's just how it freaking is. And I can't relate. You know? They're not relatable people to me because I fit none of those demographics. But like even if it was someone my exact same demographics, I still don't know, like, that doesn't just automatically grant more respect or anything like that, right? Even them being the VP doesn't grant more respect. Being CEO doesn't grant more respect. You only get the respect when you've proven to me that you, like, deserve it, right? And that's by taking care of your people, which they're not. They're not. Freaking 2.75% raise, less than inflation. Freaking, And I get it because, like, I know back in the day when all the boomers were working, you know, that was like a good raise, over 2%, you know? That's a beating inflation raise back in their day. And so when I look at, like, subreddits and whatnot, and I always see comments of, like, well, be glad you even got that much. Be glad you even got that much. Some people get much less. And I get it, that's true. But freaking saying it could be worse is, like, such a stupid thing, because it can always be worse. and there's nothing wrong with wanting it to be better. Okay? Don't ever let anyone tell you that you're being like a whiny little spoiled Zoomer, millennial, whatever, and all you do is complain, because there's nothing wrong with wanting things to be better. And I think things could be better if they would just freaking stop being so focused on the freaking shareholders. God, these old whiny hot hag in my At least one of those things is right. At least one of those things is right. Maybe more. Maybe all of it. I don't know. I don't know. Am I hot? Am I whiny? I mean, I think in the VTuber, in the grand scheme of VTubers, I'm probably a hag. But freaking the other day, I don't know if you were there, Rax, but Ayuki was talking and she was complaining. She was like, it's so sad because no one ever mistakes me for being young. No one ever thinks I'm in my early 20s. Why is that? What the frick is that? Do I have to speak in a higher pitched voice? And then she started using like a ooh e-girl voice. Does this make me sound younger? And we were like, freaking... What? No. But I was thinking about it, and I realized the reason people don't mistake Ayuki for being young. And I'll be honest, if I didn't know Ayuki's age, I would probably guess she's older than she is. But there's a reason for it, and it's not her voice, it's... She also wasn't like, do I use like speak weird or something? It's not her voice, it's not the way she speaks, it's that she has her shit together. Rax, that's the thing, is like, she's like, why no one ever guesses I'm like 22, you know? And all I could think is, that's because no 22-year-old is as put together as that, Ayuki. You have your shit together. Think back to when you were 22. When you were 22, all your shit was fucked up. You need to know that, right? And every time you talk about things and you come off as like well prepared, and you come off as having like insight and knowledge, then you're basically giving away that you're not 22. Do I have my shit together? No. But I have my shit more together than, 22-year-old me did. Right? Cause like, when you're 22-year-old, you're like, really, you're like fresh into like real adulthood, right? Or maybe you're like a little bit deeper into real adulthood, but you're still sorting it out, right? You're still sorting out your steady income. You're still sorting out your taxes. You're sorting out, your living accommodations and making sure you have the furniture you need and your budget and all that. And you make mistakes, and everything still like ends up being like, oh shit, I missed this. I didn't even realize, I need to deal with this thing every year or this thing every 6 months. You're still getting used to balancing all the acts of adulting, right? But when you're like, I'm not gonna say exactly how many years of experience, but when you've gotten more and more experience, you sort of just roll with it, right? I'm like, oh yeah, taxes, gotta do those this year, I should probably go get my car maintenance done. I should sign up for my 401k, withholdings, and for me, it's like, oh yeah, this is just the normal, right? But 22-year-old me was not like that. 22-year-old me was not, 22-year-old me was like, what the fuck is this? What the hell is, and that's the difference, because Ayuki has it together, right? And you can tell she has it together, even just from, like, the way she treats things, right? Things are not like a panic. Everything that happens to Ayuki, she's like, oh yeah, alright, yeah, that's normal, 22-year-old, you wouldn't even know how to pay. Exactly, Rax, right? And that's it, because she was also like, okay, this is maybe like a little bit, a little bit giving things away, but she showed a link, right? It was a link to a VTuber art model maker, right? An artist who does rigging, right? So they do the whole VTuber. And she's like, in case any of you want to enter into VTubing, this person's commissions are open. I just want to show you that it's pretty affordable. Rax. She said, oh yeah, it's nice and affordable. Look how affordable it is. It was fucking $2,700. Base price. it could for sure be more. I was looking at it. It was like, if you wanted asymmetry, that could be like another $1,500 on top of that, right? And I was like, Ayuki, do you think any 22-year-old ever is going to call this affordable? If I wanted to pay for that, I could pay for that, but I would still never call that affordable. Right? And it's not even about like being rich, right? Or, you know, even if you were like, I think the biggest thing is like, she called it affordable because she looks at it and she's like, oh, well, the hours of work it takes to do this, that's really not that expensive, right? Because if it takes 100 hours, and it could very easily take more than 100 hours, right? Even if it takes only 100 hours, that's only $27 an hour. That's not that expensive of an hourly rate. She's like, you just have to think about all the work it is. It's very reasonable price. And when I thought about that statement, I was like, Ayuki, you're right. You're right. In terms of work value for dollar, you get pretty good work value for dollar out of that $2,700. But again, no 22-year-old no 22-year-old is thinking that thought process. Okay? 22-year-old Belle is never going to be like, oh, well, I guess since it's so many hours of work, I guess that makes sense. No, 22-year-old Belle does not like even process that in her brain. She does not think about the worker and the hours of work that the worker is doing, right? 22-year-old Belle just looks at that price tag and is like, damn, that's a big purchase. Right? And that's the thing, is that like, it's like pure brain function on some level. Pure brain function on some level is like, me as a 22-year-old just doesn't have the foresight and the processing power to like do those calculations, or I probably did have, you know, I had the processing power. It's just like, that's not something you think about as a 22-year-old. You're so busy sorting out your own shit that you don't think about anyone else. You're just thinking about like, oh, well, how does that affect me? You know, is this gonna light fires under me? Is this going to make me homeless? Is this going to make me homeless? Then it's expensive. So then, it's like you're just in such a different brain space. And that was what I was thinking about today while I was in the car. I was like, huh. That's why people know Ayuki is not a 22-year-old. That's how we know, Ayuki. That's how we know. It's really that straightforward. You have your shit together. If you were a text-to-speech streamer and I couldn't hear your voice, I couldn't hear your voice or hear any of your, you know, mannerisms speaking, and I couldn't see your face, all I saw was like text of what you were saying. All I saw was like a write-up of what you said, a script. I would be able to guess roughly your age because I can tell in just the way you process things. And that sort of scares me because same with Giga and Mata. Yes, exactly. You know, Giga's there talking about like businesswoman shit. She's talking about like, oh yeah, back when I worked as a businesswoman selling stuff, you know, we were worried about KPIs and it was really important to maintain these you know, relations and blah, 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 blah. Ain't no 22-year-old fucking at that point, right? None of them are at that point. And you just, hearing them speak, you're like, huh, you sound like my manager. I said that to Ayuki yesterday. I was like, Ayuki, you speak like my manager. And I think she read that, and I think I could hear a little bit of her soul leave her body. But it's just so true. It's so true. And that really scares me, because even though I'm not, you know, that old, I'm definitely a prime age of my life, 22, you know, even though I'm not super old, I can already tell that my brain is like diverging from 22-year-old brain. I can tell. I look at my coworkers, my younger coworkers who are like a couple years younger than me, and I hear what they're talking about, and I'm like, damn, I feel like we're disconnected. I feel like we are not on the same wavelength anymore. even though I'm just a tiny bit older than you. And that's scary. 'Cause that means my youth is leaving me. I'm actually becoming old. I'm withering before my very eyes. And you see, like, maybe, oh god, even me just like earlier complaining about how little my raise was compared to inflation, that feels like an old person topic. That probably is some sort of like old person, because I know a couple years ago, when I was still, you know, a younger belle, I got a 3% raise, and I was like, oh yeah, that's nice, that's fine. I mean, it's more money. I'm happy because I'm happy for any bit more money I can get. And now I'm like, this is not enough money. The extra calculations are now in my head. I'm like, this doesn't keep up with my rent. This doesn't keep up with inflation, right? My older person brain is now doing these calculations, and I realize even just the fact that I'm doing these calculations now makes me older. It ages me. It ages me just by having this, like, my shit slightly more together. Yeah, and price raises? Frickin'. You see, this is the shit. You know, the cost of eggs is fucking us up. I hate to keep ragging on Ayuki. I should hide when I say it. Make myself really small when I say this. But Ayuki clearly has her shit together. When she can just spend her money willy-nilly. But I'm like reasonably good financial. I like have savings where if there was an emergency, I'd be fine. Right? I get laid off, I'm probably fine. I have enough of an emergency fund. I get into a medical emergency or a car crash or something, I can probably sort it out, right? So in that sense, I have enough money that I'm like in a good spot. That does not mean I just like go out and be like, oh, I think today I'll buy a $2,700 graphics card. No, I there's never a day where I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I think I'll spend $400 on a new PS5. Yeah, I can't make those purchases on a whim like that. and the fact that Ayuki can says a lot. Says a lot. And it's not even like, you know, it's not like the unreasonable like college girl shit where they're just like buying impulsively cause they're stupid. No. We know Ayuki's not, we know Ayuki's got her shit figured out. And so the fact that she has her shit figured out and she feels like she can just, you know, suddenly up and spend the big bucks is like such a tell for where she is in her life. to just be like, yeah, my life is well enough that I can just be like, yeah, spend a couple $100 on a PS5. Spend a couple $1,000 on a new graphics card. You know? And again, I'm not saying she's like crazy rich, right? I'm not like saying anything weird like that. It's just that she has her shit together enough that she can do this and it's not like a fucking super stupid thing. I have friends who are like, can I even afford to buy Chipotle today? Can I afford to buy lunch today? Or should I just drive home and eat another bowl of cereal? That's where the 22-year-olds are at. And going to AX and traveling at the end of the year too, you want to be... It'll happen, Rex. The things become more attainable. You debate on buying an... Yeah, exactly, right? This is the shit where you can tell the difference between someone who's like put all their shit together and hasn't, right? You'll never recover True. Especially because you'll never, especially never recover from the medical debt of permanent damage to your body from energy drinks. Yep, that's gonna be me. I think around January, I had a case of Red Bull in my fridge and I was drinking one every day. And Mama Belle was like, Belle, what the fuck? You know, people of your generation are suddenly having cancer way earlier. It's probably because of the bullshit like this. And I was like, I'll stop drinking the Red Bull. No more Red Bull. No more Red Bull. She says as she's drinking a Mountain Dew. You love kidney stones, Rax? Rax, don't say that. My big sister got kidney stones. A couple years ago. And that means she was probably younger than I am now. Hi, Cat Goes Mew. I'm sitting here just yapping about life. And I guess that we've been yapping a lot about the differences between just where people are at slightly different ages, right? Because I, you know, even though I'm obviously the perfect age for an anime girl idol, 22. Yep, definitely 22 years old. Definitely not a 27-year-old hag. But I'm just talking about like how even as if in theory I was 27, which I'm not, I think very differently than my 22-year-old coworkers. And everything that happens in life, for me, I see in a completely different aspect and point of view than they do, right? And it's like, it's just, it's not even, I'm not even trying to pull that like, oh, well, I have more experience, I'm wiser, I'm your dad, I'm your mom, listen to me because I am an ancient one. I'm not even saying that. I'm just saying, like, the way that I process life now is not the way that 22-year-olds that I see process their lives. 27 is the perfect age for a bridal carry. Why are you reminding me? Why are you saying it like that? Are you saying if I don't get married this year that I'm past my prime? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying? What's that? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm eternally in my prime. That Ash should hurry up? Maybe. But like, I realize that now. I never really got it when people were like, when I was talking with people and they were like a couple years older than me and they're like, yeah, I don't think I could ever date someone who's, college age, right? And I was like, that's not that much younger. This was when I was like, theoretically talking with people who were, let's just say this is all theoretical, and they were like 26-year-olds talking about like 21-year-old college students. At the time I was like, that's not that different. You guys are close enough probably. But now I get it. Because they're just in a different, everything that they're processing is different than the way we're processing it. Even if they're going through this, even if the exact same events happen to us as them, they will process it completely different. And this exact, the exact scenario that one of the exact scenarios I was talking about was there's this other streamer who was commenting like, oh, how come people never assume I'm young? Why don't people ever like assume I'm young? And it was 'cause just the way that she talked about anything was like an immediate tell. Like she showed a link for an artist doing VTuber models, and the base price for the VTuber model, $2,700. Base, very base. There are like all sorts of additions for different toggles, and additions for like, if you wanted your model to be asymmetrical, which technically, like my model's asymmetrical because you see like the hair, right? That would cost you more. You would probably pay like $3,000 at least, right? For just those little bits of stuff like for my model. And Ayuki linked that, and she was like, in case anyone wants to become a VTuber, it's very affordable. Look how affordable it is, $2,700. And I was like, Ayuki, no 22-year-old ever, no 22-year-old that I've ever met would ever say $2,700 is affordable. That's why no one mistakes you for young. Because that's just not what a 22-year-old would think. And she's not wrong, right? Because here's what was going on in her mind that is correct, right? In her mind, she's like, well, if you include all the work that needs to go into a model, right? Which is probably over 100 hours of work, could very easily be 200 hours of work. right? Very easily could be 200 hours of work to do a full model, or more. Then the hourly rate is actually pretty low. $100, if it was only 100 hours, that would be $27 an hour. Not a crazy amount. And if it was 200 hours, that would only be like 13 bucks an hour, right? So Ayuki is processing it in this way where she's like, yeah, I mean, that's relatively cheap. But fucking no 22-year-old is going to think through that thought process. Right? No 22-year-old is like, yeah, that makes sense. That's cheap because I'm going to think about how long it takes them to do it. No, because 22-year-olds are freaking stupid and they only think about themselves and they're just gonna be like, big number, too pricey. And it just, that's the difference, right? That's it. And she would agree. She would for sure agree, and she'd be like, yeah, the wallet still hurts. But in her mind, it was just like, yeah, it's pretty cheap because if you think about all the work, like, that's a reasonable rate. And just, again, she's not wrong per se. She's just in a very different headspace than any young person that I know of. None of my 22 to 24-year-old coworkers would be like, affordable. They would all be like, what the fuck? And I feel, now that I've like really thought about this, and processed this whole thing in my brain, I'm like, I can see where Ayuki is coming from. The 22-year-old point of view is leaving me. I am turning ancient. And I could feel a little bit of my soul leaving my body, right? As I realize this, I'm like, shit, I'm fucking old. I don't think wiser is the right word. Because I think that insinuates that like these old people with their like extra bits of experience are automatically like better judges of things. And I don't think that's true. I really don't want to reinforce the stereotype that like you should believe older people because they know more, because I don't think that's necessarily true. Okay? I think there are a lot of old people who will think that that's the case and that they'll be like, oh, I have way more experience, so I know better. And they'll try and give you advice and their advice will be wrong. Okay, I really want to emphasize that being older does not necessarily mean you are more correct. Because some of them are just out of touch. Right? Some of them just become out of touch. The fucking old people who are like, oh, the reason you can't afford to buy a house is because you're eating avocado toast. You gotta pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You gotta have more grit. You know, that is like, I hate that, because all that says to me is that they're out of touch, right? Young people can be way more in touch with reality, right? And as a young person, no one's gonna understand your situation more acutely than you, right? So I don't want to support this idea that like, oh yeah, the old people know better, right? Because that's not necessarily true. But the old people are able to like have a different perspective in that they're like, I feel like it's like they're able to look at it from a more outside experience, right? They can look at it like more from a bird's eye view. Then when you're young and, you know, you're seeing everything straight through your eyes and you don't just, your brain is not ready to like zoom out. Times were different and people are vastly different. Yeah. I mean, I think there are so many like YouTube shorts and stuff that I've seen that like talk about just the raw math of like, well, back in their day, they could have gone and worked at McDonald's part-time and that would have paid off their entire college. And now, if you want to pay for your entire college, you'd have to work McDonald's full-time for like 10 years if you didn't eat or pay rent. Right? It's just, things are so drastically different. So drastically different. Back in the day, it would be like, oh yeah, I went to a baseball game for 10 cents. My ticket to the baseball game cost 10 cents. So, fucking, of course those old people think that minimum wage doesn't need to be raised because they still think things should be fucking dirt cheap, I guess. Which, by the way, if anyone's ever like, oh yeah, baseball is America's pastime because everyone loves it. No, that's actually why baseball is America's pastime, because it was the cheapest, and in the Great Depression, you know, you take what you can get. It was way more affordable than any other sport to watch. That's why baseball is America's pastime. Who needs food? Exactly. Right? Because Ayuki's like, yeah, I mean, $2,700, that's very reasonable for the amount of the time they work, you know, amount of work they put in and their time. And really, like, that is like, younger me would have 100% been like, that is 1 month's paycheck if I choose not to eat. That is like literally what I would think. I would literally see that amount of money and be like, huh, I could pay for that with 1 month's pay if I chose to not eat anything. That's cool. I mean, it's like a weird little, maybe fun fact is the right word. I don't think it's actually that fun. It's kind of sad, right? But I keep it in my back pocket because in case anyone's like, oh yeah, I love baseball, I'm like, well, your sport is garbage. And you should feel garbage about liking it because it's a really boring sport to watch. And any defense you have is just because it was cheap. Just because it was cheap. What is my favorite sport to watch? I think in terms of watchability, the best is probably hockey? Hockey seems really entertaining to watch because it's just the entire time they're going. The entire time they're like whooshing back and forth and the puck is like flying all over the place and they're subbing live, right? There are fights and shit, right? That sounds like I think that's probably the best sport to watch. And then my next favorite's probably like basketball. Woo, go sport. I mean, I'm just talking about like if I had to watch. I'll be honest, your girl's not much of a sports watcher. I think I've spent more of my life watching League of Legends esports than I've spent watching real sports. But to me it's like, I have no idea how people like sit down and watch a game of football. American football. That is like so difficult for me to watch, and I think the statistics back my point of view. Because I know every year someone does a diagram for like the Super Bowl and they make like a pie chart of what percent of time in the Super Bowl people are actually running around. And in terms of the amount of raw time that those professional athletes are actually running around, it's like less than 15 minutes. The Super Bowl is like a 4-hour ordeal. And you're only watching people play the game for 15 fucking minutes. Like, how do people like this? Rest in peace. Rest in peace, ads. Rest in peace, ad viewers. One sec, I'll take this opportunity to cough. Okay, Rax, I think soccer is better for sure than American football. But I also think soccer is not the most exciting because it seems like cat goes mute. The football I'm talking about is because American football is like the worst sport to watch. Even though like I'm not like a sports watcher, it's the worst because every year they do literally like an analytics. Someone on Reddit goes and makes a pie chart and they say like out of the like 4 hours that the Super Bowl takes, how many minutes do people actually spend running around on the field? And it's like 15. Less than 15. There is less than 15 minutes of athletes being athletes during the 4-hour Super Bowl. It's cause cat goes mute. Like so much of the time is for American football especially is like them setting up, them lining up, them making calls, right? And if you only start the timer from when the guy is like hike to like when the ball goes down or whatever they call the end of the play, it's super short. Every single play is like 10 seconds or less, right? That's why American football to me is like the worst sport to watch, is because there's so little action. Whereas I think hockey's you're just going. No. It's not 3 hours and 45 minutes on ads. Although I think it's probably like 2 hours on ads. But like so much of the time you're just watching like nothing burger, right? You're watching the commentators. The commentators probably talk for longer than the play actually ran. I'm actually 90% certain every time they do a play-by-play commentary, it's longer than the actual play, right? So literally every other sport is better, right? Like that Olympic sport curling where they like throw the weight across the ice rink and they do the little sweeping in front of it. That is better than American football. So that's like American football is the lowest of low on my list of sports to watch. Hockey is probably number one, or maybe some fighting sport. I think the fighting sports are exciting to watch, even though you don't get much watch time. The fighting sports are exciting to watch because you're like the bit of watch time you are watching is like you're watching people kick the shit out of each other, and you're like hit him, fighter, kicker. But Max was talking about soccer, and I think soccer is better because there's like, it is better than American football because there's like people running around for way longer. But soccer has its own problem in that like, at the pro level, all the soccer pros are so like dialed in that all their passes are like exactly where they want to put them. And so they pass very, very precisely so that it will go straight to where they want the person to receive it. And it seems like the defenders know that they are not gonna be able to get the interception most of the time, right? So I feel like when you're watching soccer, I feel like it doesn't ever really feel like people are really, really hauling ass. Like they're never out there. None of the defenders are out there like, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna get him, I'm gonna take the ball from him. No, it seems like they're all sort of just jogging around. That's how I feel when I watch soccer. Is like, oh yeah, that guy made the like 40-yard pass to his teammate across the field, and it was perfect, spot on. And the nearest defender was just jogging over because he knew in his heart that even if he sprinted, he was not going to be there perfectly in time to like intercept it. So he just didn't even bother. And that's how soccer feels to me. Is like half the time they're just like, yeah, I'm just gonna jog. You know, I'm taking it easy. And occasionally you see people like really working it, right? Especially when it's like the guy is like, they call it dribbling in soccer. Is it still dribbling in soccer? Is dribbling just basketball? I don't know. But like when the guy's dribbling past the defender and it's literally like a one-on-one, then it's exciting. It's interesting because they're like, you can see them really working and trying hard, right? But I feel like a lot of the time when you're watching soccer, it seems like the guys are just like, yeah, meandering around. Here's a pass. Perfectly where I want it to be. Depends on the way they play. There are some really savage groups. Like in soccer, the way Europe and Latin America are different. I see. Really savage is like a... I feel like that's not a word that I really see with soccer very often because, you know, when there's all the memes about soccer players. They all like pretend that they got hit, right? They all flop. They like, the defender gets even like sort of close to them and they're like, he hit me. Red card him. Give him a foul. Give him a foul. Based on my thoughts on sports, I like a game where there's just a ball and anytime it goes in the net, a point is scored. Other than that, no rules. I think it could be interesting, right? It's really hard to like tell based on the execution, right? Because so much of it is decided on other things of like, how big is the field? How many players are there? Like, right? If there's like no other rules, then like, it could be really, really hectic and violent, right? Where people are like punching each other, right? And if it's like, if you had that in, do you guys know like how big I think they're called racquetball courts? It's literally just like a room where you like hit the ball against the wall and you bounce and the guy hits it back. But those rooms are like pretty small. If you had a sport like that in a room that size, that would be absolute chaos. And it would probably be exciting as fuck, right? If you had a game like that on a soccer field and each team was 5 players, yeah, you know, could be exciting. Maybe also boring because there's just so much space to cover for 5 people, right? Or you could do like soccer field, each team 20 players. And it's literally, at that point, it's literally like a mock battle. I feel like watching that would literally be like watching like a Colosseum fight. Red team is the Romans and the blue team is the Greeks, and now they're just like going head to head, smacking each other while they play like war capture the flag. Like that would be super interesting, right? Or like if they had like, I'm gonna talk about LARPers, like if they had like the LARP weapon, the foam swords and shields, right? So they can like actually just beat the shit out of each other. They're like actually beating the shit out of each other while one of them tries to they've got like flag capturer positions, right? Like the seekers from Quidditch, right? The flag capturers are just running around trying to steal each other's flags or put balls in goals or whatever. And meanwhile, everyone else is like fighting with swords and shields. Hi, Ash. Hello. How are you? I'm good. I've been yapping. We've been yapping about the weirdest stuff tonight. We were talking about like the differences between young adults and slightly older adults and hagginess and now somehow we're talking about how exciting certain sports are and what makes them exciting or what makes them worse. And to me, the very top of the totem pole is like best sport to watch is hockey. And then worst sport to watch is American football. It's you, the hag. I know. Rax was talking about how 27-year-olds are like the prime time for bridal carries. That's what Rax said. And I was like, what? Well, does that mean anyone older than 27 is past their prime? Huh? Does that mean people after they're 27 are past their prime, Rax? I'd be careful saying something like that. You never know who might feel insulted. We should join. Okay. So hear me out. How the hags of V Shoujo, right? Matara and Giga, right? The like mother age hags of V. How old do we think they really are? Are they like early 30s, late 30s? What are we thinking? I will never be past my prime. I'm 22 forever. Exactly. Cause freaking anime e-girl idols are always perfect. Always prime age. Prime as heck. But wait. What was I saying? How old do we think Matara is? There's like no way Matara's in her 40s, right? Knowing how influencers think about 25 is elderly? 25 is elderly? Yeah. That's definitely old. I'm definitely not that old. 3/4 of the world turns to dust? Yeah, we're disintegrating before your very, like we got Thanos snapped. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. 40 is sorta old to you and anything below that is pretty young? I see. So do we think like Mama Matara is like, where do we think she is? I honestly can't gauge. She could, like, if she was 40, I'd be like, I guess, right? I guess it could be possible. I suspect she's not that old though. But it seems like she really has her shit together. On the scale of like people who have their shit together being old and people who don't have their shit together being young, I think Matara seems like she might be the oldest of the VTubers, right? Because she's got her shit together. She's got people who do her shit for her. Most people don't even land a career until mid-30s. Yeah. What does it take to become a successful influencer when you're older though? Why do we not see them? Why do we not see many older? What's bad is I look at Ludwig and I look at like C.BA and I'm like, oh, they're like getting there as content creators in terms of age. And they're like not even 30. So what does that mean for me? I'm doomed. What do I define as older? I'm just saying, like, if you associate like how much people have their shit together with their age, which there's a sort of correlation, right? Like, generally, if you see someone who has their shit together, I feel like they're more likely to be older than the people who don't have their shit together, right? There's like a weird rough correlation. And I feel like Matara probably has her shit together the most out of the VTubers, right? Then maybe Giga. Giga's probably pretty close, right? So I feel like those are where I'd be like, yeah, these VTubers are probably the quote-unquote oldest. Thank you for the head pats. Thank you for the head pats. I love the attention. Most of them just advertise their age, and the difference between a 35-year-old and a 25-year-old isn't that noticeable. Especially if you're healthy and have good hygiene. Thanks for the cat. Cat redeem. Yeah. And the nuts. And the nuts. So you're gonna tell me you don't feel like you can tell the difference between a 35-year-old and a 25-year-old? I feel like there are some people I can't tell. But I also feel like people around 25 years old, I can tell. Because theoretically, I mean, you know, like the truth obviously is that I'm forever 22. But theoretically, if I were 27, you know, just in theory, thought experiment, if I were 27, I would feel like I could judge the people younger than me purely based off of, like, how they carry themselves. My younger coworkers, I can tell they're younger than me just by how they carry themselves. If they're in health and have good skincare, I mean, I have a pretty good skincare routine. I put on the lotion. I put on the moisturizers. Don't ask me about how long I've spent of my life on things like Proactive. And that was a bitch. That was a bitch. So I don't do stuff like that anymore because that was so much effort, but your skin fights back. I get that. I get that. And as someone who, I don't have like it would be unfair for me to say I have an autoimmune thing because, like, there are so many VTubers with, like, actual autoimmune things. But I definitely take some medicines that help, you know, reduce certain aspects of my immune system that give me, you know, eczema or other harsh skin conditions, right? It's tough. It's tough. Sometimes medicine can really help, though. Anytime you wash your face, you get massive out. Oh no! Have you talked to your doctor about it? Or maybe you can visit a dermatologist. I know, for me, something that used to be like a huge pain was like shaving. When I would like shave my legs, I would get like irritated. Your routine takes 2 minutes and involves soap and water? Liar. You're making it sound like you wash yourself. Yeah, cat goes mute. I take one called Rinvoke. It's for like, I think it's technically some sort of like allergy type stuff. But it helps my skin just to not like, it doesn't help my skin like look better generally, but it helps me like not have really itchy dry skin. So it doesn't stop like blemishes or blackheads, pimples, stuff like that. No, but it makes me less itchy, and that was like a huge thing that helped a lot. Shaving gives you bumps, so you have to be careful. Yeah. I don't want you to be stinky. I just know the truth. I know that you don't actually wash yourself. You're trying to deceive us. But anyway, so someone was like, "Oh yeah, you can't really tell 25-year-olds from 35-year-olds if they have good hygiene." And if I can tell the 25-year-olds, does that mean the not 25-year-olds have bad hygiene? Also, low-key, internal nightmare? Do any of you guys ever have internal nightmare that you're like stinky and no one tells you? Like, low-key, I think about this sometimes and I'm like, you know, if I was stinky, would anyone tell me? Who would tell me? I don't think, cause like, if one of my coworkers were stinky, like, my coworkers are the only people I see like on a daily basis. If one of them were stinky, I don't think I could tell them. Like, what would I'm not gonna go up to them and be like, why haven't you showered? So part of me is like, what if I am stinky and no one has the heart to tell me? What would... You don't give a... I care what people think about me. What if all the cute people in my office think I'm stinky and avoid me because of that? Maybe that's why no one has asked me on Valentine's Day the past Valentine's Days. All 22. All 22 of them. Or chat, I'm not sure what your morning routines are, but I know there are some people out there who do certain private things in the morning. And like, that sounds like nightmare fuel to me, because like, what if you smell like that when you go to work and no one has the heart to tell you, but everyone around you like can smell it? They're like, oh, they very clearly had fun this you know what? like, isn't that a nightmare? Isn't that like... I think that would be the super nightmare. Because if I came into work and people could smell that scent off me, I think I would die. I think would actually just die. If they're like, hey, Belle, you know, you smell a little inappropriate. I would immediately quit. Walk straight to my manager's office and be like, yeah, sorry, manager-san, I'm quitting effective immediately. Yep, we're done. I'm quitting, and the reason is after I leave the office building today, I'm gonna go walk off a bridge. Right? And I'm pretty sure that no one no one thinks that of me. But in the back of my mind, there's just that one little tiny voice that's like, what if they smell that? What if you smell like something and just no one wants to tell you? Belle, what if you're a stinky girl and no one wants to tell you? What? That is like some sort of really terrifying nightmare fuel intrusive thought that has like occurred to me is like I would never know. I would eventually leave my job, and then people, when they thought of me, they'd be like, oh yeah, you remember that girl Belle who used to work here? Oh, who? Who are you talking about? She was the stinky one. Like, can you imagine that? That's your legacy? Can you imagine that that's your legacy when you like leave your job, or when you die, or something like that, you move away, how people remember you, they're like, so-and-so left, and they're like, who? Who was that? And they're just like, oh yeah, that was the stinky one. That was the stinky one. And then they know who you're the fucking nightmare. Absolute nightmare. So the moral of the story is, wash yourself a lot. Take a lot of showers. And don't do anything suspicious before work. Nah, I'm the needy lesbian engineer one. You know how weird it would be if my legacy amongst my coworkers was the lesbian? Because I don't talk about my preferences with any of them, and I don't think any of them know. Not that they think I'm straight necessarily, or anything like. I don't really like talk with them that much about that. I don't think that's like what I'm known for. Maybe I don't know. Occasionally, when I was talking with my friends, you know, we might be like, oh yeah, I think so-and-so is cute, right? But I'm not like out in the office salivating over the girl from finance. The fruity one? Maybe. I think if anything, if they're like, which one was Belle? I think they'd be like, oh, Belle? That's the obnoxious one. She would argue about such stupid things. She would argue about such stupid things and make a hassle out of things that didn't matter at all. Maybe. Or maybe they'd be like, oh, well, she was cute. I hope so. The other day, one of my coworkers, no, sorry, not my, one of the departments at our building had like leftover food, right? They had leftover sandwiches and chips and cookies, and they needed to get rid of them, so they invited a bunch of other people. They're like, basically anyone they saw, they're like, hey, yeah, we've got extra food in conference room X. And so I went and I picked up a sandwich because free lunch, and I had a sandwich and a cookie and a bag of chips, and I grabbed those and I started walking out. And one of the girls who works as a tech for us was like, oh, is that all you're grabbing, Belle? And I was like, yeah, I mean, already I'm like breaking all the diet rules. So I'm not gonna grab too much. And she is like, oh, really, Belle? I mean, what are you talking about, diet rules? Belle, you're like, I'm not gonna say what number. I'm not gonna say the number she said, but she is like, aren't you only like X pounds? And it was like 30 pounds lighter than I actually am. So I guess I must look nice and cute and petite. Cause she, I guess, thought I was really light and skinny. And I was like, you're a little off there. The one that watched anime at work? Okay, so I won't lie to you. If I could watch anime at work, I 100% would. Like no question in my mind. Here's the truth about me. Okay? The truth, chat, is I have like 2 modes where I'm at work. Mode 1, I am wearing my lab coat. That means things are getting done. We mean business. We're getting shit done. We're building things. We're testing things. Mode 2, I am in my cubicle. If I'm in my cubicle, sitting on my computer, and I have, email open or Teams open, that means I'm not doing anything. and I'm in mode 2, maybe like, honestly, I'm probably in mode 2 like 60% of the time. Just not getting anything done. And during that time, I would 100%, 100,000%, if I could watch anime, I would. I'd just pop up in Crunchyroll. But I can't, because our company freaking blocks it. Our company blocks streaming. So it blocks Twitch, blocks Crunchyroll, blocks all the video game sites too. So even if I'm like thinking about video games and I'm like, oh, I want to look at the tier list for Honkai Star Rail. Nope, can't. Pride when blocked. So I can't. I'm actually just brain rotting. Not even getting to enjoy the anime that I'm behind on when if I'm in my cubicle. Normally I'll like browse Reddit, right? Just use data. Here's the thing, Rex. Here's the thing. My cubicle gets piss poor reception. My cubicle has really shitty reception. So if I wanted to watch stuff, which sometimes I can and sometimes I do, for like a short YouTube video or a video from Reddit or something, my options are 1, go outside, which I mean like I could. There are like lunch tables and stuff outside, so I could do that. Or I can watch where I get good reception on the toilet in the bathroom. you know, that no one would say anything. But I don't want to be that girl who's sitting on the toilet for freaking 30 minutes. Can you imagine that manager's like, hey, have you seen Belle? And other coworkers are like, oh yeah, I think she went to the bathroom. But that was 30 minutes ago. Can you imagine? Can you imagine being the manager and having that, like, do you check up on her? Especially, my manager's a guy. No, I could never, I would never do that because that's just so sus. And to be fair, even if I went to the bathroom, I don't think any of my coworkers would be like, yeah, she went to the bathroom and she hasn't come back for 30 minutes. They'd just be like, oh yeah, last I saw her, she was going to the bathroom. She probably went somewhere else after. but like, just imagine they like see me walk past their cube as I'm going to the bathroom. And they only see me leave it like 30 minutes later. Can you, if you saw that at your workplace, what would you do? I mean, obviously you're not gonna say anything, right? Like, if I think, honestly, especially because, you know, girl, you know. But, like, if I saw one of my coworkers go into the bathroom, especially a girl, and they were in there over 30 minutes, I would be like, I saw nothing. Nope, didn't happen. Erased from memory. You do you, girl. But yeah, so I can't watch anime at work. Unfortunately, I could do that thing where you download the videos on Crunchyroll while you're at home and then you watch them while you're at, like, I could do that. But imagine you do that and then manager-san needs me for something, so they walk over to my cube and they see me watching Crunchyroll on my phone. Not that they haven't seen me on my phone before, right? Like I said, I still, like, browse Reddit and stuff and whatnot, and sometimes I am on my phone. I think, to be fair, half the time my manager comes to my cube, the first thing he'll see when he comes over, the first thing he'll see is he'll see me put down my phone. But there's some huge fear of, like, if I'm really invested and I'm, like, watching Freerun or something, and he comes over to my cube and I don't notice him, and he just sees me and he doesn't, like, get my attention. He just stares at me and sees me watching Freerun for, like, 3 minutes straight, like... Tell him it's research? I mean, there's no way he'd believe that. I'll tell you, there's a 0% chance that anyone at my company is doing research for work on their phone when they're right next to their computer. Is he an engineer? Yes! You just watch while at lunch? Yeah, I mean, I try to, like, what I'll do if I'm having lunch is I'll probably watch like a YouTube video. But I don't know. I've never been bold enough to just like actively throw open Netflix or Crunchyroll or something like that. But my manager's a pretty chill guy. I don't think he would actually give me any shit for it. Especially if I was like in the middle of eating lunch. He'd just be like, oh yeah, do you have a sec? And I'd be like, sure. You thought I could make an argument from authority? I'm an authority on... What? Huh? Wrong button. Wrong button. I'm an authority on nothing. Nothing. So... There's nothing... I think... Like I said, he's a chill guy. So if he saw me watching something, I think he would just, like... snap me out of it. He'd be like, hey Belle, you got a second? And then he would never mention it again. But it's still such a funny thought. I'm an authority on your hearts? Really? Tell me all about it, Rax. Have I left my mark on your heart, Rax? If so, you should probably see someone for some sort of psychological counseling, because I can only imagine I've only imparted terrible damage. Talking about really cursed things. Talking about showing up to work stinking of human smells. What is this background music? I better make sure that I'm not getting DMCA'd. This one. Actually, we'll skip through. Boom. But yeah, I sort of wish that I could work from home. Because if I could work from home, I would 100% do all my work with anime on the second screen. I would 100% be that worker that all of Elon Musk and Trump and all those, Mark Zuckerbergs, and I would be the worker that they'd be like, there's no productivity when people work from home. Home. So it's good that I go into the office, right? And like I said, I'm only getting stuff done. Really, I'm only getting stuff done if my lab coat is on. If my lab coat is off, I'm not in work mode. If the coat is off, I'm in like casual mode. And I'm just freaking around. Wear my lab coat in my cube? I mean, I wear my lab coat sometimes, when I'm in meetings and whatnot, right? The lab coat is not necessarily indicating that I am in the lab. Because I do wear it like other times, but I really, if I'm not wearing the lab coat, then it means something not important is happening. Ah! Wrong button. Wrong button. Sorry, the coat stays on during working hours? I don't think... Chat, I told you the secret. I told you the secret is that there's the two modes. There's the lab coat work mode and the no lab coat casual mode. And I'm telling you that because I know that that's the truth. But I'll be honest, I don't think any of my coworkers know that that's true. I don't think they've put two and two together. So to them, no matter what I'm wearing, if I'm at work, I'm probably working. They probably think I'm working. I mean, they know that I slack sometimes. Like everyone slacks sometimes, right? But they, I'm pretty sure, have not established the correlation between the lab coat and productivity. And it might be, it probably is the same to them, right? They're just like, oh yeah, Belle's at work. Sometime Belle slacks at work. It's fine. So, none of them are ever, like, staring me down based off whether I have the lab coat on. And I don't think any of them are judging me based on my time at my cube either. Even though that's the other giveaway, is that rule 2 is, you know, if I'm at my cube, nothing's getting done for me. Thank you for the nuts. Thank you for the nuts. I love them. That just means I'm definitely gonna have to shower though. Otherwise, I'm gonna be stinky when I go to work, and they're gonna be like, Belle, why do you smell like nuts? Belle, why are you stinky? But how did we get to this? How did we get to this topic of like the different modes of productivity of Belle at work? Something about watching anime at work. Frick, that is something I do want to be better about when I'm not productive at work. I want to at least be doing things that are productive to me. Which sounds stupid, right? It sounds stupid because really, like, if I'm gonna be at work, I should be productive doing work things. But in those times where I'm not productive doing work things, what I should do is I should be productive doing school things. And I should be watching lectures and doing my homework at my cube. And instead, I'm just like browsing Reddit. It's so bad. It's so bad. And now your girl is freaking on week 7 of the quarter. I think it's week 8 now of a 10-week quarter. I've only watched the lectures from weeks 1 and 2. So we're a little behind. We're a little behind, chat. And I have a project due in 2 weeks. Project due in 2 weeks. And that the second week, which is, you know, starting next Sunday, I'm on business travel. So really, I have to do this project this week. Even though I'm like 6 weeks behind in lectures. Chat. I think I might be a little hosed. The one time Belle can ever get hosed, it's not hosed like bitches. It's hosed like she's freaking toast. Ask for an extension? Okay, cat goes mute. On one hand, I'm an adult, and my professor is an adult. So reasonably, I could ask for that, right? But also part of me is like, if I was the professor, and I assigned a 3-week project, and someone 1 week into the project, right? So the project got assigned a week ago. If only 1 week has passed and there's still 2 weeks to go, and someone asks me for an extension, I'd be like, why are you asking for an extension? You have 2 full weeks. You can figure it out. That's what I would think as the professor. And at that point, I have to out myself and be like, I need more time because I didn't watch any of the lectures. I'm behind on the lecture. And then we're like mega host. Explain my travel? I could. Reasonably, the other thing is like the travel technically does not stop me from working on the project. It's mainly that like, I know my personal understanding of myself, because Belle knows herself. Just like Belle knows that if the lab coat is off, no work is being done. Belle also knows that when Belle is on work travel, she's not doing things other than work. Or she's not doing school, right? I'm gonna go to the meetings with the person we're meeting for work travel, and then I'm gonna go back to the hotel, and then I'm just gonna watch YouTube videos and cat videos at the hotel, and then go out to fancy dinner. So practically, I don't have a problem. Because I have everything I need to do this project in the next 2 weeks reasonably. I can do it. In all senses, I am capable of doing it. I just know from foresight that I'm a bad project manager. It's crunch time? Yeah. So now the question is, when should I spam the lectures? Or there's actually there's the alternative in that I do the project and I do the project without watching the lectures. which honestly, there's like a solid 70% chance 80% chance even that I could get away with that. Because all I have to do is reasonably make them think that I tried and put out things that seem reasonably like I've taken the steps towards the right answers. And if I end up with the wrong answers, I'll lose points, but they won't fail me. This, by the way, is definitely not how you're supposed to do school. By the way, if any of you are in school, don't follow my example. You should take school very seriously and put in the effort and not half-ass your classes. But I know as a grad student, you have to like really not try and really screw the pooch to fail a class as a grad student. Too late, you half-assed your whole career. Samesies. I guess it's good that I'm an Oshi for you, right? Like Oshi, like follower. You don't call it catching up, you call it speedrunning? True. You know what speed your girl watches lecture videos at? I'll tell you, it's never 1x. Never 1x. It's either 1.5 or 1.25, because ain't nobody got time to listen to the professors who are like, so, if you calculate the value of x, and you do this indefinite integral, right? Ain't nobody got time for that. Speed that shit up, man. Speed that shit up. Talk at normal speed. Talk at Bell speed. Yap like me. Yap. Ba. Do everything I do? I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty cool. Cat goes mew. So if you end up like me, you should be relatively happy. Not that you should ever be satisfied, right? You should always want to be better. But if you end up like me, you can at least sort of pat yourself on the back. You're not in jail. You're not pregnant. You're not addicted to any drugs. Not pregnant. How could I be pregnant if I can't find anyone? You're actually never in danger of pregnancy because you're gonna die alone as an old cat lady. Anyway, you really wish you could be. You can. If you want. Cat goes mute. I want you to know. First of all, you actually should. Your life goals should never be like, I want to be like so and so, because everyone's got their own life story. And everyone's got their own issues. And I got issues you just don't know. Right? So don't think that I'm more amazing than I am. But also, you can do whatever you want, man. You can do whatever you want. You just gotta believe. And put a little bit of, I'm gonna say you should work hard, even though everything I've just said has been talking about me being a slacker. I am a slacker, but I also do know, when the important times to put in the effort are, and just try. Just try, and you'll be happy. I promise you, if you try hard, you'll end up with things that you can be happy about. Yep. I'll be honest. My biggest regrets, plural, are things that I just did not put in the effort for. Right? I've never put in effort and regretted putting in effort. My biggest things are like, oh, well, that girl in high school, I probably should have tried to be more forward. Probably should have tried to be a little bit more of a communicator, right? Or I probably should have tried a little bit harder when I did my college applications. Or I probably should have tried a little bit harder when I, was in my classes or when I was applying for jobs, right? All of my regrets are like, I wish I had tried harder. I don't think I have any regrets of like, man, I wish I didn't try this. No. I don't. I am happy with everything that I put effort into. Freaking every time I stream, I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I streamed tonight. But before stream, I'm gonna tell you, tonight included, before stream every day I'm like, I probably should stream tonight. And then like night comes and I'm like, I feel kind of lazy. I don't know what I want to do if I stream. I don't know what games I want to play. I don't know what I want to talk about, right? And then that stuff like gets to me, that gets in my brain, and I'm like, oh well, I guess I just won't stream tonight, and then I regret it, right? That's something I've been regretting a lot recently, honestly, because I like, part of me is like, I need to stream, because if I don't stream, then I'm gonna lose any connection I have with any of my watchers, right? And I'm not gonna be able to build any sort of community, and I'm not going to get any social interaction because I don't socialize with people outside work. Everything is like, I should stream more. And then somehow I end up with some sort of like little motivational roadblock, or I'm going to say it's like depression. I'm not going to say I am depressed, but I experienced depression in the past. And I feel like this is sort of similar, where I'm like, it's like lacking desire to do things that you know you want to do them, right? You know that you should do them, and you know good things will happen if you do them, but you struggle to make yourself do them, right? That's such a huge battle for me, and I get it that it's a huge battle for everyone else. I might not be here, Rax. Yeah, I mean, you're right. Every mistake I've made has put me where I am, so I should be happy. Right? But I also, while that's true, right? That sentiment is true. I don't think it's right to ever be like, I don't think you should ever look at your past and be like, oh yeah, I did everything perfectly. Because you should always look at your past and be like, yeah, I made a mistake here. And acknowledge that, right? That's important too. That's important too. You always have to reflect and recognize where, like, you did things and you maybe didn't do the right thing, but they put you where you are. And now you're where you are, but now that you've seen what you did and you understand what you did, you also know how you would correct it next time, right? You're not gonna make the same mistake again. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with where I am, right? I live a good life. I've got a pretty cool job, and I've got some cool friends, and I've got lovely, amazing viewers. Lovely, lovely, amazing viewers. And I get to spend a lot of my time as a fucking anime girl on the internet. I get to be an anime girl on the internet. And that in itself is a blessing. So I'm pretty happy, right? That, you know, I've got regrets like everyone else. Rest in peace, Cat Goes Mew with the ads. Rippo. Let me drink. Welcome back, Cat Goes Mew. You know, it's 11:15 p.m. I probably should not be drinking Mountain Dew. Yikes. Yikes. This whole week, chat, I've been going into work late because I'm waking up late. Because I go to sleep at like fucking 3 a.m. And every day I'm like, I need to fix my sleep schedule. I need to fix my sleep schedule. And every morning, my alarm rings, and my alarm rings at like 7:30. Which technically should be an okay time for me to get up if I'm fast, because I'm supposed to technically be in work at 8. I'm never in work at 8, but normally, practically, my goal is to be at work at like 8:30. Which I think no one will complain if I'm in work at 8:30. This past like 2 weeks, I get into work at like 9:15. Which honestly people could complain. It's really bad. It's really bad. I think yesterday I got into work at 10 because I made some bad sleep decisions. And every day I'm like, tomorrow I'll do better. Tomorrow I'll do better. This weekend I'll fix my sleep schedule. And then last night I drank a Mountain Dew at like 11 p.m. And tonight I'm finishing my can of Mountain Dew at 11:15 p.m. Yeah, I'm freaking. That's the problem, Cat Goes Mute. It's actually the digital anime one. I'm actually watching VTubers. Like, that's not even a joke. I end up watching VTuber streams, and then it's like 1 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I should get into bed. And then I get into bed and then I doom scroll on YouTube. Wait, Rax, what are you asking how to? Are you asking how I get into work at 10? It's pretty straightforward. My alarm rings at 7:30. I open my eyes, I look at my alarm, and I'm like, oh, it's time to get out of bed, but I can probably lay here another 5 minutes. I'm just gonna close my eyes. And then I open them again, and it's 10 a.m. Oh, close your eyes, open them again. 2 hours have passed. Although, last week, there was one day I had an 8 a.m. meeting. That is one thing that I do, like, I know if someone sets a meeting at 8 a.m. when I'm supposed to be in the office, then for sure they will notice if I'm not there, right? So every time they set an 8 a.m. meeting, I make sure I'm there. But I usually get there and I'm like, literally, I sit down and my soul leaves my body. But if I'm there, right? If I'm there, they're like, oh yeah, she just hasn't had her coffee yet. It's whatever. Go on with the meeting. And then if they don't have meetings that early and I don't show up, they're just like, oh yeah, she's probably in at work working. Probably in one of the other rooms. Maybe she's in a meeting with someone else. That's why I don't see her. And then I'm secretly still in bed. You have an alarm at 6 so you can do that, Rax? Hey, they would never know I'm watching anime in the restroom. If I'm watching a video, I always have earbuds in, so they would never know what it is. I'm in a meeting with my bed? Yeah, exactly. Although, chat, there are times where I have this one coworker who's he's not my boss, right? But he's sort of... So I'm a systems engineer, and he's on one of my projects. He's the lead systems engineer. So he's sort of a half step above me, right? And he gets into work at 6 a.m. or something. He does really weird hours, and they're not super weird, but he starts at 6 and he leaves at 4 or something like that, so that he can beat traffic because he drives a long way. Sometimes he needs my help running tests, and he likes to do them in the morning, so he knows, that I should technically be in... He I think, sort of understands that I should be in at reasonable work hours. So he'll come in at 6 a.m. or whatever, and he'll be like, Belle, I need you to help me run a test. And he'll send me an email with a meeting invite to run a test for 9 a.m. Guys, I can't check my email from home. I have to get into my office to check my email because I don't bring my laptop home with me. So if he sets those meetings for those tests, and I should see them, right? Because I should be in time to see them before 9 a.m. And sometimes I'm not. And sometimes I miss our test slot. He definitely knows I'm getting into work late. Can I bring my laptop home? Yes. I used to. But I don't anymore. Because it's a relatively hefty laptop. It's an engineering laptop. So it's a not trivial amount of work to take it with me. And there's it's kind of finicky with Wi-Fi's and stuff like that. So whenever I switch networks or I unplug it from my docking station at work, weird things happen. So I just decided to stop taking it home. Hi, Skill Issue. We're talking about my bad work ethic and how your girl's a girl fail. And how I show up to work late all the time and no one gives me shit about it. So I'm very blessed. What's an engineering it's just like our company has... There's like different models of laptops, right? And if you're like someone who works in finance or supply chain, they'll probably give you just a pretty lightweight, easy laptop, because all you really need is you need to be able to send emails, you need to be able to run Excel, you need to be able to browse the internet, right? That's what all your laptop is for them is communications and basic programs. Frick you, you stupid spam bot. Get blocked. Get banned. So those people get very simple, lightweight, cheap, like they're basically Chromebooks, right? Engineers tend to get heavier duty laptops that have like dedicated graphics cards, stronger processors, and that's just because that the laptop you have is the same thing that you use for all your work. So if you're doing CAD modeling, or you're doing analysis, or you're doing any of the heavy lifting programs, you just probably want like a little bit stronger of a computer. And they just tend to be heavier. They're heavier, they get hotter. Like, in a lot of ways, they're worse, because if I go on work travel, I'm not even gonna lie to you, chat. One time I went on work travel, and I can't play games on my work computer because I can't install games. So I have to bring my personal computer to play games, my personal gaming laptop to play games, and my work computer, because I still need my work computer. And my backpack is like 50 pounds. And I'm not even gonna lie to you, right? I've got like TSA pre-check. It's basically like a gaming laptop. Yeah, basically. I've got TSA pre-check, so I've got the thing where you don't have to pull them out of your backpack, right? You just leave them in your backpack and you send it through the big mega scanner. If I have both those laptops, the scanner can't even scan through them both. So I'll send them through, and then they'll get stopped and the people will have to take them out and check them because the scanner can't scan through all of them. And last time I went through TSA, they pulled out my gaming laptop. They're like, oh yeah, seems normal. They pull out the engineering laptop, and this fucking lady, this TSA lady, calls over her like coworker or her supervisor and is like, does this laptop seem abnormally heavy to you? Right? Like I legit think she was like, could this be like a bomb or some shit? Cause the laptop is just so fucking, that's how beefy the laptop was. It doesn't like look beefy, but it's dense. The TSA is so stupid, Xeno. I semi-agree. Like, I know statistically TSA stops nothing, right? TSA like, causes more bad than it does good. Statistically. But I think a big part of it is, like... Excuse me while I clear my throat. Sorry. I think a big part of the TSA is, both psychological, in that it's supposed to make people feel like they're being better protected, and it's like a bigger deterrent, right? It's just anyone who wants to do something bad has that extra layer of like deterrent that they have to be worried about. And I think that matters a lot. To be completely honest, I think that is a big helpful thing, because every little bit of deterrent is useful. Yeah, in terms of execution, they're god awful, right? They for sure bog down efficiency of the entire travel system. Weightlifting, but it's just Bell and engineering laptop. Exactly, skill issue. Exactly. But yeah, this fucking lady, when I was going through TSA, she like pulls out my gaming laptop and she's like, oh yeah, fine. Pulls out the engineering laptop and is like, huh? Hey, manager, come look at this. Is this suspicious? Meanwhile, my poor, let me see. I think it's like, the model is like the Latitude something. It's like a Dell laptop. But they're like, it really looks like just another fucking laptop. But my laptop's like kind of like, honestly, struggling for its life. I don't even know why. I don't even treat it that bad. But my laptop gets hot as shit. You had to turn your laptop on by after getting pulled aside? In Oslo? Like Norway? I didn't know that. I didn't know that TSA in like other countries was like as bad as ours. I mean, if it wasn't charged, they'd probably just have you get your charger out of your bag and plug it in. But like, yeah, I don't know. I honestly, like, the weirder thing to me is like when they pull the laptops out, what I always see them do is they like take this little microfiber cloth or something and they have some chemical and they like wipe it. And to me, it's like, bitch, what are you gonna find by wiping it? If it was a bomb, you think the explosive chemicals would be on the outside? Are you like on the metal of the laptop? You think you're going to be able to detect it on the outside shell? Like, your laptop gets over 85 degrees C, cat goes mute? Yeah, I mean, they're looking for traces of explosives. Sure, but to me, like, I would expect anyone who is going through the effort to hide a bomb in a laptop to be clean enough in their execution that the outside is sterile. But I don't know. I don't make bombs. Of course, you know. It just seems silly to me. It seems very odd to me. And I fucking keep pressing the wrong button. And like, why is that what? Why don't they? Shouldn't they be able to tell with the scanner? Like, I get that when I have the two laptops in, there's like enough metal that it like is literally just too dense for the scanner to go through. Why do they do this wiping bullshit? Why don't they just send the laptops back through the scanner one at a time? Like, and if the scanner can't tell if it's a bomb, then what is the point of the scanner? If you need the wipe, then what is the point of the scanner? How is it? No. The scanner's basically to tell if there's the electronics inside to detonate the bomb, right? Or if there's something that looks, you know, weird and clay-shaped, you know, that's obviously very suspicious, right? But here's the thing. If I go through with one laptop, with my TSA pre-check, they'll send it through the scanner. The scanner will full scan it, and they will not take it out and wipe it. They'll just be like, oh, it's fine. So clearly, they have enough that they feel like the scanner can tell. Right? They have enough where they feel like the scanner makes them feel comfortable enough to send you through. So, why not just send the laptop through again and tell with the scanning? I don't know. I don't know. It's just silly. TSA execution is silly. And it's fine, it's whatever, right? Because ultimately, TSA has never caused true issues for me. Although I remember one time they fucking unpacked my luggage, right? Because they do that thing where they like open random luggages and they repack it. And I remember your girl's not like a crazy neat packer. So sometimes my shit is literally just stuffed in. I've opened the suitcase, I've stuffed in all my dirty laundry from work travel on my way back, and I just sit on it and zip it back up. One time, they opened it, and I got home and I opened my suitcase and it was all neatly packed. And I was like, oh, yeah, they definitely went through all my underwear. Which is fine, you know. They see worse stuff, right? I'm like 100% sure that every TSA agent has like seen weird sex toys, you know? Like, but it's weird, you know? It's a weird feeling when you open your suitcase and it is packed differently than how you packed it. That's something I've never, like, heard of Xenotime. I mean, I guess it makes sense, right? That, you know, certain body parts, if they're not expecting it, right? If they're expecting women's physique and they see something in the groin area, they're like, huh? Right? But I don't know. I've never heard of that happening. It sounds very plausible that it could happen, though, and that sounds super uncomfortable. But I don't know. I don't like give the TSA people shit because they're just people trying to do their jobs, right? And I also don't I don't feel like I'm in a position to critique TSA as an organization because if I were in charge, do I feel like I could do better? No, not really. So I don't know. I don't want to give them too much shit. I just remember there was this one clear memory I had where the lady just pulled out my engineering laptop and she's like, is this heavier than normal? Like all suspicious, like just because that's how fucking chunky my work engineering laptop is that it made this lady fucking suspicious. But yeah, and fucking, that's reminding me that I'm gonna have to fucking carry this 50-pound ass backpack in a week from now when I go on my work travel for my cross-country flight. And I actually just straight up, whenever I do these trips and I carry the 50-pound backpack, it's fucking, my shoulders hurt. My shoulders hurt. Even though, like, you don't even carry it that much, right? You just carry it to the plane, and then you put it under the seat in front of you. But the, like, hour-long layover, right? Where I'm in, like, Denver airport or whatever, and I'm walking from gate 1C to, like, 2D or whatever. My shoulders hurt after carrying my backpack from one terminal to the other. Good night, cat goes meow. Rex, wait, You carry a 50-pound backpack and you tell me how your shoulders feel. Okay? You don't even know because my back is obviously carrying a lot of weight already. Okay, Rax? That's what you don't understand. My back is already strained before the backpack. That's clearly what the issue is. Trains, I've heard good things about trains. And I used to take a train from my college back towards my hometown because it was better than driving. And that's like a pretty solid experience. But planes are really hard to beat just because of how fast they are, right? Like, I would never dream of taking a train from the East Coast to the West Coast purely for travel, right? I might take a train from the East Coast to the West Coast or back and forth if I wanted to like sightsee, right? But if I was like, I need to go from Oregon to New Jersey, if I needed to do that, there's no world where I ever choose to make that trip just as a trip with anything other than a plane. I have a serious issue of hag? Well, frick you. Everyone's a hag when you're still a wee little baby. Boy. Boa. Boa. But even the shorter trips, Xenotime, right? Even if you're going halfway across, if you're going even like quarter length, right? If you're going Colorado to Texas, I would not take a train, right? Plane's just so good for speed. Especially soon.tm, when Boom's new fancy plane that can go supersonic without ruining infrastructure with the sonic boom gets officially used for commercial purposes. Did you guys hear about that? You guys hear that they have a functional supersonic plane, and how it works is they still make the sonic boom, but they make the sonic boom precisely in such a way that instead of the sonic boom propagating all the way down the ground, which is what the problem was, it would literally like crack buildings beneath the planes, right? Now they have one where the sonic boom happens and it like refracts, and the blast of the sonic boom bends back upwards before it can get to the ground, so it doesn't do any damage to the ground. That's super cool. That's super cool. I don't know. I have no fucking idea how they did that. But that is such an awesome idea. And whoever did that CFD, whoever did the CFD for that must be like a goat. But that, I mean, also sort of crazy, just to me, the idea that there were like planes flying overhead at plane height, which is like literally thousands and thousands of feet off the ground, right? Probably, I think it's like 40,000 feet plus. We're cracking buildings beneath them with their sonic booms. That's how destructive the sonic booms are, is they literally like, you would see cracks appearing in your building because of the damage. Literally just destroying shit everywhere. I guess that's like pretty normal for human engineering though. We just start breaking rules, and then breaking the rules causes everything else to just suffer. We're just ruining the world around us. All the shit we put in space. I wonder if we already have like spy planes that have been doing the same shit. This supersonic stuff that redirects the supersonic boom upwards. Like, what I understand is that all the shit that normal science and public companies can generally do that can be used for military applications, my understanding is the military normally has that developed and running like 10 years earlier. So I'd be 0% surprised if like the Lockheed SR-72 could already have this tech. Would a spy plane need to go to? Yes. I mean, okay, the truth of the matter is, in the modern day, speed is like a huge, huge thing for all aspects of the military, right? We're talking about even fighter jets. You know, fighter jets are flying Mach 2 plus, right? And that's purely just because everywhere you want to go, it's better to go there fast than it is to go there slow. And I mean, even with the way back in the day, the SR-71, right? Man's gift to speed, the SR-71. That literally was a spy plane, and the whole point of it being fast was so that we could fly over, get our pictures, get our radar, get all our data and whatever we were trying to spy on, and literally outfly the missiles that they shot at us. No need for weapons, no need for weapons, no need for flares, no need for any of the crazy stuff. We literally just fly, and we fly so fast that they can't shoot us down because they don't have a weapon that can shoot fast enough. That's what the SR-71 did. So I'm fairly certain the SR-72, son of Blackbird, or Dark Star, or whatever the frick you want to call it, I'm sure that thing probably goes like Mach 5. At least. It probably, like Top Gun, just they showed it like hitting Mach 10. I'm not sure if it goes that fast. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes that fast. But I don't know. I know we've got, like, a big thing right now for the military is hypersonic missiles. Which, if you don't know, hypersonic is a broad classification from Mach 5 to Mach 25. 25! So there's like a big thing defense-wise of them studying, of them creating hypersonic missiles. That at that point you're going, I think even at Mach 5 you're going like a mile a second. If I remember right. It's literally like the craziest fucking shit. I remember one of my professors was talking about it way back when I was in university, in undergrad. One of my professors was talking about bidding on research for it. For proposals for super fast missiles, because even, of course, this development must have started like 10 years ago. Or people started asking questions about this like 10 years ago or over 10 years ago. And what he was proposing for the research was that obviously one of the biggest limiting factors for a hypersonic missile is going to be heat, because you're going to generate a fuck ton of frictional heat just from passing all the air. And his proposal for heat management was to liquid cool it using metal. That's how fast these go. They are literally liquid cooling using, I think he was saying liquid like lead was his proposal. It was going to be like porous material fins, so they have pores, so the liquid lead can flow through it. And this thing would just fly so quickly that the heat it generated would melt the lead inside, and then the lead would wick through the thermal pores through whatever physics they have, that they use the same physics as your, like, computer's heat spreaders, right? And it would flow the heat away from the heat generation points through convection, through fucking liquid metal. This is what I feel like are crackhead ideas, right? But he was a professor. He was a professor of mechanical engineering, so he obviously on some level knew what he was talking about. And I guess that's the truth, is like all the crazy tech we have right now, where we've got like self-driving cars and AI and crazy computer chips, it all starts with crackhead ideas. Or at some point, someone had an idea that's probably, it's not actually a crackhead, but anyone who doesn't know, who isn't a subject matter expert, will hear it and think it's a crackhead idea, right? and it wasn't like straight lead. I'll be clear, I'm pretty sure he was talking about some sort of alloy with maybe like aluminum or zinc or some shit. But I remember lead was part of the conversation. And the reason he chose lead was because lead is really dense, and denser materials tend to have higher heat coefficients, specific heat coefficients. So that means since it's denser and it has the higher heat coefficient, you can flow more heat with a given amount of mass, right? You might be able to only flow, 10 joules with aluminum, but since lead is denser and has higher specific heat capacitance, you might be able to do 15 joules, right? So, I don't know, it's crazy shit. Crazy shit. Yeah, low melting point was for sure an important aspect. But, like, this is the crazy stuff that people are working on every day, and you have you would have no idea until 10 years later, 20 years later, when you find out that there's officially, the brand new, Raytheon fucking hypersonic missile. And you're hearing about, news of it on the news where they're talking about, like, oh, the new government contract for this brand new fucking fancy $100 million Raytheon missile. And you're hearing about it and you're like, wait a second, these guys did what? They managed their heat by fucking melting lead? So, I mean, people are crazy. People are crazy. Even where I work, I can't tell you specifics on what I work. But I see some pretty crazy ideas where I work. And I'm like, damn, we're really out here fucking wilding. We're really out here pursuing these crackhead ideas. Sorry, I need a drink. 1 second. Rest in peace, sleep schedule. Mountain Dew will end us all. But yeah, I mean, I imagine that whatever the fuck Boom has invented or claims to have created, right, with their new supposedly to be a consumer vehicle plane, I assume whatever tech they have, Defense has had it sort of in their back pocket already. That's my assumption. Because those defense people are crazy. Those people are are on top of it. Although, maybe not anymore, because Trump's fucking... Anyone who does any work for the government is, like, now in danger of not having a job. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. I actually shouldn't joke about that. Holy frick. Holy frick. Guy's gonna run our country into the ground. But what else? What else has been cool that I think has developed recently? You guys, any of you guys watch this, this YouTuber? I think his name, he showed up recently in my shorts. I think his name is Flesh Simulator. Yeah, it is Flesh Simulator. Here's how I've seen him described, and I agree. He's described as morally gray Vsauce. or evil Vsauce. And this guy publishes YouTube shorts about making borderline inhumane weapons. Okay? And I say that because he's always like, ah, yes, you've clearly heard of, you know, the LADs, the long range something sound disperser. And what it is he's built like a gun-shaped thing that is like 6 or something like car stereos. He's built it into this gun that directionally shoots a wave of sound, and it is so loud that it will like instantly deafen people. And he's like, obviously you don't use this on people, right? But if you were in some situation where you needed to defend yourself or someone was stealing from you and, you know, you legally can't shoot someone who's stolen from you and is running away, you can't just like kill them. Well, if you needed a solution, boy, have I got one for you. He also has another one where he built like, it was like a bright light flasher, right? And I really do say a bright light flasher because that's all it was. But it was like a super high power light flash that from within your car, how he described usage was like, yeah, you ever need to show someone that they have their high beams on when they're driving towards you at night and it's annoying? All you do is you fire this thing once. You pop this thing once. And it will flash so bright that even from within your own car, through your own windshield tint, through their windshield tint, through the light of their high beams, they will immediately know. And if someone ever tries to steal your car, if you point this at them, point blank, you will blind them instantly. Instantly. It is like, he's like, it's 14 times the brightness of an arc flash. Evil Vsauce is how they describe him. Oh, I mean, Xenotime, have you... There's all sorts of really terrible things. I've seen things, I've seen people give instructions on how to build napalm, which is basically like, if I remember right, it's like styrofoam mixed with some basic home chemicals. Is literal napalm. Right? That I've seen some really horrible, horrible things. And there's no reason for any of us to need to know any of these, right? I know about what's called the active denial system, which if you are not familiar with the Raytheon TM active denial system, what it is it's a big, basically it's a fucking laser that they point at you. They shoot RF at a very specific frequency that has low penetration but high absorption in your skin. It heats your skin up like just your skin, not your organs, just your skin. It heats your skin up almost instantly to like 2nd degree, 3rd degree burn temperature. And you just, the pain is unbearable, so you collapse within like 2 seconds. And that's what their whole thing was. It's non-lethal because it doesn't fry your internal organs. It doesn't even leave you hot for that long. It's literally like, they turn it on, it heats your skin, you feel like you're on fire, you collapse, they turn it off, and you've cooled down to normal temperature in like a couple seconds. But in those 2 to 5 seconds that they had it turned on pointed at you, literally no one that they tested on, no person, which I'm sure they tested it on like rugged military people, they all collapsed in like 3 seconds, 3 to 5 seconds. From literally all they did was they shot RF at these people and immediately fucking triggered all the pain receptors in their skin. Yeah, it's, on one hand, it's super cool. On one hand, it's super cool. On the other hand, it's like, what the fuck are we doing? Humans, why are we doing this? What is, like, I can only imagine the ways that the CIA might use this to, like, torture someone, because it apparently is no long-term damage. You just put them into unbearable pain without causing permanent damage. No, Xenotime, it's not like, technically, I guess technically it's like a quote-unquote burn, because technically your skin is that high temperature, right? Your skin does raise temperature, but it's so quick and your skin cools off so quickly that it, like, hardly is really counted as a burn. Really, they just immediately heat up only what they need to stimulate all the fucking nerves in your skin. Your whole body, by the way. This is like a big, this is not a tiny beam. This is a beam that is meant for crowds, technically. So I'm sure it encompasses your entire body. And you're just like fucking fried. Which I, like, do you think that information is some sort of secret? Whatever frequency they use, because the frequency is obviously the secret sauce there, right? The exact frequency that you use to have that perfect performance where all your energy is absorbed into only the skin, right? That has to be some sort of, like, super secret mega classified number, right? and in addition to it not penetrating and, you know, destroying your organs, it also has to not get attenuated by air, right? Because it needs to go through the air. It needs to go through the air, not be attenuated, hit your skin, immediately get almost completely absorbed. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's really about finding the right frequency that you can get the right radiation. Right? The right, is it emissivity? Absorptivity? It's been so long since I took heat transfer. That was like literally 5+ years ago since I took heat transfer. But basically, it's dependent on, you know, what material it is. And some materials are more responsive to some frequencies than others. No. Xenotime, you're incorrect. Microwaves are very penetrating. That's why if you put meat in the microwave, it will, like, heat up the inside, because the microwave frequency is really good on water. Also, I mean, As far as you know, those are both misconceptions? Rax, you're right. What the microwave does is it's taking the polarity of the water molecules, because water is like that weird, like, angled H2O molecule, and so because of its geometry, one side is slightly more negative and one side is slightly more positive. And then when you induce alternating electric fields, electromagnetic fields, that polarity causes them to basically swish around. So you're moving the water molecules, exciting the water molecules. Yeah. Xenotime. It has to do a lot with the polarity. No, I didn't mean it was only good with water. But there's like a reason that when you have cup noodles, it's not only heating the outside of the water in the cup noodles. Similarly, there's a reason that you get the fucking Hot Pocket effect. Where the outside is frozen and the inside is the temperature of the sun. Like, that's some shit right there. But anyway, fucking morally evil Vsauce is actually hilarious to watch. And I imagine he's actually like a pretty cool guy. It's just a bit about the evilness. But why are content creators on YouTube so fucking unhinged? More relatable with egg exploding? I see. It's too easy to do evil things? I don't concur. I actually think the only, like, it's not too easy to do evil things, because the implication there is that evil things are done accidentally. That these people are not doing evil things accidentally, right? There's no accidents about this. Right? These people are doing evil things because they choose to be evil. And you have to remember that. like I, as an engineer, am not accidentally creating the active denial system that heats people's skins and only their skins. If you want to cause harm, it's not that hard. I mean, true. Also, like, not necessarily, like, if you want to cause harm, it's super easy, right? Because you don't even need science. You literally... I'm not going to say what I would do, but you could very easily just rent a large vehicle and cause immeasurable damage to many people without any science whatsoever. Okay? That, like, honestly, that you don't need any sort of crazy brains to hurt people. I think half of the tinkerers of the world are just... They've got some weird itch in their head that they need to scratch that probably has some correlation with being a tinkerer, and part of that itch is destructive. That's what I have to say. That's what I have to say. The people who like knowing how things work also like knowing how to break things. That's what it is. And they're not evil because they're not actually this guy's actually not going out and hurting people, but fucking unhinged as shit. Like, how do you think this guy's wife or girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, how would you feel if you were this person's significant other? Like, holy cow. I mean, I think that's misconstrued, because the truth is, it's easy to make bad things, but really, the truth is, it's not easy to make bad things. It's just that everything nowadays is easier to make than it used to be, right? 3D printers are like crazy. Like, people can make all sorts of good things, bad things, whatever things, so easily nowadays. Everyone has access to the things they need to be a maker, to be a tinkerer. If you were born in the fucking 1400s, good luck. Good luck. Good luck machining anything with any level of precision. Gotta get like a fucking blacksmith to hand forge shit for you. Good luck. Right? I mean, fucking ammonia and bleach, making that toxic gas? You can say that's easy, right? But the truth of the matter is, that's not necessarily easy. It's only easy because today we have everything at our disposal. The modern day science has given every person access to anything they could ever want. Whereas, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, people probably couldn't just easily acquire whatever chemicals they were looking for. You didn't have peasants walking into Walmart buying bleach. Maybe bleach specifically. They might have had something for cleaning, but I don't think that you have like all the chemicals in the world that you could want around you the way you do now. Yeah, I mean, but that's always sort of the case, right? It's just nowadays the scope is that, like, back in the old days, you could make a weapon in the day. Back in the days where people used swords and spears, you could make a spear in a day. Just everything nowadays is crazy. Has science gone too far? Has science gone too far, and now we can make cursed things, and that's why we have plushies in jars. Because we've just given humans too much. Humans are flying too close to the sun. Now you've got cursed things because life is just too easy. Rax, like, honestly, right? If you did this shit, you would actually just be, back then you would actually just be thought of as a witch. You'd get killed for witchcraft. You make poison gas? They are for sure killing you for witchcraft, right? They for sure, like, to them, all you've done is you've cast a spell and you killed people with a spell, is what they probably think it is. You're poison gas. They don't understand. So they're gonna kill you for witchcraft. if you make mustard gas in the 1400s. Right? I mean, this does remind me of a really silly story I think of every time I'm talking about or think about, like, science in the past and how very simple scientific things are, like, wondrous to people in the past. I think of one example. When I was a really little kid, I went to a camp that taught me, like, it was like summer nerd camp, and what they were teaching our class about was flight science. And what one of the instructors had as, like, a story was, way back in the day, I think it was somewhere in the Middle East, there's like a ruler in a palace, and a scientist at the time did a demonstration for him. Okay, all it was, there's a fire in the palace, like a normal, like, cooking fire. All the guy did was he would basically demonstrated the simple concept that heat reduces density of air and, you know, increases pressure, and so you end up with, like, convection currents and hot air rises, right? The normal stuff. So what he did was they took a big blanket, they held it above the fire, the hot air wanted to rise, and so what the blanket started doing is it started like lifting in the middle, right? The people holding the corners were holding the corners, and the middle was like lifting upwards, almost as if it were like a balloon. And the ruler, due to this experiment, his palace burned down. But he was so amazed that he was still happy. He was totally okay. He was totally okay with his palace burning down because he was so amazed that this one like scientist dude basically made like a blanket float. He's like, palace? I can build another one. This guy is starting the beginning of flying contraptions. That was totally worth it. Totally worth it, right? And I sort of get it, right? If someone came into my home... Actually, no, not for me. If someone went to Elon Musk's home, right? And they burned down Elon Musk's house. But in the process, what they showed him was they showed him a method for really easy, low power levitation. Or actually, no, they broke the laws of thermodynamics and they created a power source that generates energy without, you know, destroying mass or anything. It just produced energy out of nowhere. I don't think Elon would care if his house burned down. I don't think Elon would care at all. I think Elon would be like, we gotta get a trademark, we gotta get a copyright on this. We are gonna make so much money on this. The moral of the story is you should play with fire. I mean, if you can do something cool, right? If you can literally change people's perception about reality, you know? If you're developing the new world's fastest form of transportation by using liquid metal convective heat dissipation, right? And you're liquid cooling the fins on your rocket with lead, you know, maybe worth it to light the fire. Maybe worth it to melt the lead. But it's freaking crazy, right? Crazy that, like, you just go back a little in time and things that we take super for granted today are, like, basically magic. It's basically black voodoo magic to anyone in the past. I mean, it was part of a grand scheme of teaching about flight science. And he obviously was not telling us to go home and light fires. Even us as little, like, 4th graders, right? We obviously knew, like, fucking, he burned the palace down? What a fucking idiot, right? That was obviously what was going through our brains. We were like, oh, he made the blanket float? Big whoop. We know that. We know that heat rises. A technical misexplanation. But that's what little 4th graders know, is the little 4th graders are like, oh, heat rises. Sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. Correct. Correct. If you went back to the year 2000 and you did AI generation of images, magic to them, right? Magic to them. Like, you could sort of explain it and they'd be like, oh, I mean, I guess I sort of get what AI is, right? Because people back then had they probably thought of AI as semi-science fiction, right? Some sort of Star Wars shit. They probably were thinking like C-3PO. But if you showed them AI image generation, they'd be like, what the fuck? 1700s and show them a CT scanner? Okay, but like, you have to show them something that's cool and interesting and explainable, but also not so crazy that they kill you for witchcraft, right? Don't show them the giant spinny electromagnet that looks like an alien's about to abduct your brain, right? That's my opinion. I mean, maybe if you want to show them the crazy thing that looks like an alien's about to rip your brain out of your body, just give it, yeah, that'll help. You know how they'll kill the witch? They're gonna burn you. They're going to sink you to the bottom of a lake. And in exchange, you're gonna give them cancer, which will probably not even be what kills them, because they'll die before then of fucking polio, right? They'll die before then of tuberculosis, right? So the cancer you give them doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter because they were fucking dead anyway. AI was very basic in the 2000s. Even animation evolved significantly after those years. Show them Blender. Okay, I think Blender's pretty old. I think Blender might be like sort of magical to them, but I don't think so, right? Like, you have to remember that what year did Toy Story come out, right? There were animated movies back then, like CG animated movies. Toy Story is from 1995, Rax. Holy shit, Toy Story's from 1995? What the fuck? What the fuck? How is this? Toy Story is 30 years old, chat. Toy Story looks like it was made by a kid in Roblox today. Okay, I need to reacquaint, because I don't think Toy Story looked that bad. Toy Story, I think, actually looks still looks pretty good. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think graphics are that noticeably different nowadays than what we could make back then. The big difference in technology for graphics is like how fast we can render them, right? Because honestly, I think Toy Story, the original Toy Story, looks acceptable by today's standards, but it probably took, honestly, like 5 times as long to render all those frames. Like, I would be 0% surprised if we can render the frames for Toy Story, like, even 100 times faster nowadays. You disagree? I mean, I'm just like, I'm looking at screenshots of Toy Story, right? And I'm not unhappy about it. It doesn't look, like, it looks smooth. It's not blocky. Like, if you show me Toy Story and you show me Up side by side, which is like, that's like a 20-year difference, Up might look a little bit better. But I think the reason Up looks a little bit better is more about stylization than it is about graphics. Right? I think the animators in Up put in more work because people have more skills, more practice. It's a less of an emerging field, right? Because half of it is graphics, right? Graphics are important, but really stylization is what really sells it. That's why anime, which by the way, anime, like, hand-drawn anime is like, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, hand-drawn anime is not particularly graphically amazing. The reason that, like, anime looks so good is stylization, right? Stylization is what really the king of everything. And that's why some video game, like AAA video games, right? AAA video games like Tomb Raider might have super better graphics than what's a less AAA game? Hold on. I can't even remember what sort of games are out there. I wanted to say, like, what I wanted to say was Helldivers, right? But I think Helldivers is also, like, considered graphically good. But I think even if I set my Helldivers to low graphics, I think Helldivers is a much better looking game just because aesthetically all the designs are better, right? Stylization is so important compared to like, I honestly could not give a rat's ass about the polygon count or the reflections or your ray tracing. If your stylization is not good, it looks worse than something that has better stylization. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think like, looking at, again, my comparison would be looking at Toy Story or looking at Up. I don't feel like Up is significantly better. I mean, I think it might be better in that there are some fine details that you see in Up, whereas, like, you see strands of hair in Up, right? Whereas in Toy Story, like, all the strands are, like, more clumps. Just because they don't have the like, fidelity to do strands of hair. But the way everything is shaded and the way everything looks, I think Toy Story is not that much worse. Similarly, 8-bit games are, like, the ultimate in, like, bad graphics, right? Technically, right? They have literally the least resolution, but there are plenty of, like, 8-bit art style games that look really good just because, you know, making it look good and making it look clean is a lot about style. You could not make Up in 1995? No, of course not. I mean, you're not, like, of course any movie is always going to be using, like, the most cutting edge stuff right now, right? Like, you could not make Avatar 2 10 years ago. Quite literally, like, Avatar 2 was, like, literally, they were waiting on technology to advance to make it. But regardless of whether you could make it or not, I don't think I don't think Up looks... I don't think Toy Story looks incredibly worse. Right? Aesthetically, Toy Story, like, aesthetically looks fine to me. I don't see it and say, like, that looks tacky, that looks bad. You know what I do see and think looks tacky? This is gonna sound silly because I love the series. I think if you watch Star Wars A New Hope, that intro scene where you're watching the Rebel blockade runner get chased down by the Imperial Star Destroyer, you see that and you're like, that looks tacky. That has not stood the test of time. Because you see that and you're like, yeah, I think someone just carved a thing out of, like, wood or plastic or whatever, and you, like, see it, right? You can see everything, like, looks kind of bad by today's standard. I don't feel that way about Toy Story. Shrek? Shrek's pretty good too, I think. Have you guys seen the... I heard there's a trailer for a new Shrek and he looks, like, uncanny different. Shrek 5 on the way. Oh my god! Seeing the picture side by side does look... I don't like it. I don't like it, chat. I don't like it. Let me see if I can... Top is OG Shrek, of course, and bottom is, like, new Shrek. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It just looks not... I mean, the facial expression is different, right? So, it's hard to to really judge because facial expressions are really important. But I can tell immediately that this face just looks like a different person. And this isn't even necessarily about the graphics. It's just like, again, stylization is important. This looks like a different person. It's not about the graphics being better with fancier, newer ray tracing methods and better reflections. It's not about that. It's just they've changed the shape of his head and his nose. What is that yellow egg with a face to it? This doesn't look like an ogre so much as it looks like a person who's like a person's face that has been like AI infused onto an egg, like you said. Right? That's how I feel like what happened is someone photoshopped like a real person's face. They took like everything from the eyebrows down. And what they did was they did like some quick Photoshop paste onto like this egg-looking shape, and then they did color match. That's what I feel like having here. Did I see the full picture? Let's see. I don't like it. I don't like it. It's some sort of uncanny. Are you talking? Oh no. Are you talking about this one? Sorry, it's super pixelated because I didn't get not a high res photo. But this is like horrifying. Right? This is like Donkey, I feel like at least still looks like Donkey, right? In some sense. I feel like Donkey still maintains the character, even though his hair looks like a little bit different. I feel like still maintains the character. Shrek, I feel like what I'm looking at is like Chinese knockoff toy. Is what I feel like. Let's see. One with the kid and Fiona. Oh no! I see it. I see it. It's not that it's bad per se, it's just, it fucking is not what Shrek was, right? This is like, this immediately breaks all the, what do you call it? Nostalgia. Nostalgia is broken with this because you're immediately put off by the fact that it's very clearly just like, as much as you want it to be the same character, it doesn't look, your brain doesn't match it with the same character, because it doesn't look like the same, right? Which reminds me of, you guys know about like the brain disorder that makes it so that you can't like recognize faces? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? I remember reading a Reddit post from someone who had this like a week or two ago. Like, that must be a horrible, annoying life, to be honest. Like, literally everyone you know, you're gonna have this same effect that we just saw with Shrek, right? Where they just don't, they look different. Every time you see them, they're a fucking different person, right? And you can never, like, you have this feeling of being put off every time you see any person, because it's like basically a brand new person every time you see them. That it's disappointingly like uncomfortable. Just sounds really not enjoyable as a life. Okie dokie. Shit! Chat, I was planning on playing fucking video games tonight, and instead I just yapped all night. Which, by the way, I'm not unhappy about. Like, I think that is something I need to be better about. I think I need to be better about just, like, talking with people. Right? Because I think that's how you maintain viewers. Right? And that's how you, like... I don't know how... I honestly have no idea how Twitch people find new viewers or how you get new viewers on Twitch, because, like, how many people just randomly are clicking on random streams or finding random streams? I don't know. Right? So I honestly don't know how a new person would ever stumble on my channel. But talking, I guess, is the best way to, like, keep them engaged, right? As opposed to playing video games. I feel like. I don't know. I feel like I have better engagement, of course, if I'm chatting with people. Just start drama? Easy. I mean, Rax, honestly, if Ayuki saw what I was saying about her earlier, she might be annoyed with me. I don't think I'll say, if Ayuki had a good list and a naughty list, I think she would put me on the naughty list. And not in the fun way. Not in the fun way. But regardless, I had a lot of fun chatting with you guys tonight and just talking about stupid, dumb, meaningless stuff. And I hope that I can be better about chatting and making conversation about stupid, dumb, meaningless stuff, because I want to grow a better community as a streamer, and I want to be a better streamer, and I want to entertain people better. So, you have a soundboard of that? Is that why you're asking, Rax? Listen, I'm not gonna say I need it, but if you had a soundboard and you had links, I mean, I would peruse. I would peruse. Okie dokie. But it is midnight 30. It is midnight 30. And I think I should probably start winding down for the night. That's a fucking blatant lie. I'll probably end up brain rotting and watching some, like, YouTube shorts or some shit. But I think I'm gonna call it for the stream for the night. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I'm really glad that I can have you guys to hang out with, because honestly, I don't fucking, go out and socialize like a social butterfly. Go out to bars or any shit like that. So it's good that I can still talk with people. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. I'm gonna try and stream again this week. Who knows when? Maybe Tuesday. I don't fucking know. But thanks again. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Alright. Don't expose me, skill issue. Frick you. Good night. Bye.